Hello preppers, welcome to Goshen Prepping. Thanks for joining us. Of course, we worry about shortages and want to keep an eye on that, not to mention inflation and prices going up. Well, whenever we see things happening in that direction, I like to put a video out so we can be ready just in case. So here are some things we need to look at that you need to stockpile now to be ready for this fall and winter, because indications are pointing it's going to be a very difficult fall and winter. Number one, potatoes and sweet potatoes. And although I don't eat potatoes on keto, I wish I did. I love them. They're delicious. They have been a lifesaver for humanity and mankind for thousands of years. They're actually pretty easy to grow, but as you head in winter, growing season is coming to an end. So stockpile a lot of potatoes now. They're great because you can simply put them in a cool, dark area, and practically speaking, they should keep all winter for you. Number two, flour. And it's pretty easy to store. Just simply put it in your freezer and you're good to go. But to be able to bake things nice and warm and cozy winter's day with the oven going, baking delicious stuff. I mean, for us, we try to stay a little bit more carb conscious. I don't eat flour at all, and maybe you don't either. Maybe substitute almond flour. But either way, flour is actually getting more expensive, and you're finding that the packages it comes in are smaller than they previously were. Number three, oats. Oats is what's for breakfast. I'll be honest with you, get steel cut or rolled oats, incredibly good for you and high in protein. And it definitely should be on your list, by the way, for breakfast instead of some of those nasty cereals that are put out. Granted, I know the cereals are delicious, but oats are much better for you. And you know what? Besides being high in protein, they store really well. Number four, broths. It's an amazing stock item, obviously, to make your soups, not to mention give flavoring for lots of other dishes. And you know what? We may be in a situation where we're going to have less broth available at the stores. You know what we do? We like to make bone broth. So whenever we have chickens, even when we get chickens from Costco, by the way, Costco chickens, delicious and cheap, we'll actually make the bone broth from those chicken bones afterwards. And it is incredibly, I can't really stress this enough, it is incredibly good for you. Number five, canned protein. And you might know me well for the fact that I love canned food and canned proteins, especially for the fact that, proteins are really good for you, but there's such a variety, isn't there? We have tuna, chicken, you can get canned beef, corned beef hash, well, I guess that's the hash part. You can get sardines, salmon, even people who like Spam. That's not me. But so many different options you can do as far as proteins go. And what's neat about proteins, besides being really good for you and helps you regulate your blood sugar levels, it makes you satisfied. It stays in your stomach from 4 to 6 hours, where a lot of carbs go through there, will be gone in 15 minutes, but not protein. So stock up a lot of them now for these nice cold months. Number six, beans and legumes. And they're also packed with lots of proteins and fats you need too. Now, of course, you can stockpile tons and tons of dried beans and legumes, and they store very well in a Mylar bag with an oxygen absorber. Great stuff. Again, you do have to put a lot of heat in to prepare it. So you can always buy the canned beans. The canned beans, also nice and high in proteins and fats, are just good for you. Will store for years and years and years in the can. And of course, they're already pretty much ready to eat. Just pop it open and off you go. Number seven, rice. Did you know over half the world consumes rice on a regular basis? And again, being on keto, not so much, but you still have lots of rice in the house. And the best thing about it is you could buy it in bulk, really cheap. Even right now, we're in this rice shortage. I use the air quotes because it's not really affecting us so much. Buy it. It's so inexpensive. Now, same thing, you have to put a lot of heat into it, but it's a small price to pay. If we have a situation where crap hits the fan, we're not talking about simply just stockpiling for this fall because of this shortage, all the problems coming with this. But it has such a high glycemic level, it makes you produce a lot of heat in your body and actually helps keep you warm. So nice touch for the rice eaters. Number eight, quinoa. So as we are facing rice shortages, and again, hopefully they're not near you, put in the comments below if it is, you may want to consider quinoa. It's a really good substitute, and in a lot of ways, it's much better for you. Number nine, pasta. And yes, we are still having some pasta shortages pushing off into this fall and winter time. I don't eat pasta anyway, but there's lots of alternatives you can do, even if you do like pasta. Maybe do egg noodles, or you can maybe make zucchini zoodles, those kind of things, to be able to put spaghetti sauce on it, whatever you need to, for some delicious meals. Number 10, canned fruit and veggies. And we're seeing supply problems. Of course, we are coming into the United States from countries that produce a lot of our produce for us, being fruits and veggies. So the option now, honestly, is to buy lots of canned fruit and veggies, or, if you like to preserve your own through dehydration or freeze drying, that's a good way too. But stockpile now because we're looking at a difficult winter, not having enough fruits and veggies. Number 11, cooking oils. Yeah, we're having problems with that too, mostly because we're having problems as far as corn goes, the corn industry. I mean, it's actually not doing horrible, but a lot of the oils are actually made from like corn oil and such, which those oils are not really good for you anyway, are seeing, a little bit of supply problems, but as we go into this fall, could certainly get worse. I always recommend to go into like avocado oil, coconut oil, or olive oil. Are we having problems with those? I mean, maybe a little bit also, but they're much better for you, so stockpile those now before it does get bad. And 12, seasonings. You want to have things like seasonings to be able to give yourself a variety as far as flavors in your food. Bland food will literally take your morality and make it go down. But even as we go into this fall and winter, and if nothing cataclysmic happens in the United States, you still want to be able to stay ahead of this. Don't, basically stay ahead of shortages, and seasonings are a great way to do this too. There's something about home, wintertime, being cozy inside, and having food. No, having delicious food, and seasonings can do that for you. So whatever your seasonings you have, try to stockpile them. For us, we buy all of our seasonings practically from Azure Standard because we get them in bulk, and they actually have mixed seasonings too, like we buy their pizza seasonings, for example, and as we make our own pizza. Link below for Azure Standard. It's free to check them out, and they have drop sites all over the country. Sign up, see if it's something you like, and then go for it if you do. But lots of people on the channel I've taught to love Azure Standard. We absolutely do love them, and that's one great place to get the seasonings. All right, so we're looking at probable shortages coming this fall, this winter, and as a prepping channel, we just want you to be aware of this so you can stay ahead of this and make it so you don't have to suffer as people may flood to the store and try to buy these things, especially if we talk about something that does happen that's cataclysmic. You want to be ahead of that. Put in the comments below, what would you add to the list? I'm sure there's some things that you would add there as well, maybe you've heard along the wire of shortages coming this fall or winter. But anyway, thank you for watching.